speakers here. We don't speak.
And Shelley, yeah, and Valerie.
Well, parking is really tough down there. They're probably negotiating as I did.
I made that mistake once. I'm never doing it again.
What?
So you don't plan?
So I can't remember why I had to drive. I drove to the meeting, and I got here early. I was like, oh, I'll be early. Then I spent like 15 minutes driving around in the garage here.
Oh, I don't park around.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, Nathan, how
How
are
are
you?
you? Good. Hey, Mika. So we're gonna have a caterer come start setting up at 7:30.
Oh, why? What's
You
the
guys
deal?
keep your hands off our stuff.
Wow.
It's a
Is that what that's
recognition
still-
dinner.
that
If
storm
you're
thing?
still in session around 9 o'clock, you're welcome to come out and.
Okay, we will try to control ourselves, but is it warm?
Wow.
So it's
You
gonna
wanna
smell?
Deborah?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Make us hungry.
Or maybe we can take a little 10-minute break.
I know.
She's in Hawaii.
The what?
Deborah's in Hawaii.
Okay.
So we have no way of getting hold of the speakers who are not here yet.
Well,
Let
we
me see.
can flip it. We can always flip.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have flexibility to flip. We can flip and flop however we want.
Can we call her home, I think? I don't know. Oh, boy.
Was that speaker something about something storm related? I think?
Yeah, there's the program right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No.
well, look at that. Yeah. High tide, sea level rise. Obviously, I didn't even look if it was tonight. I saw the flyer down there.
It's funny. So you're telling me about sea level, and there's sea level.
Yeah.
Different sea level.
High tide on Bay.
But we're still missing someone. Who?
Yeah, you
Valerie.
should go to the other meeting.
Valerie
They're gonna give you
and
food.
Oh, here she
But
is.
they're not gonna give me an award.
Sherry's here.
No,
Oh,
that's not showing.
we're giving
Not
you an
sure.
award.
No, they're giving everybody their award.
Oh,
Yeah.
have mercy. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're right. See, because I know you pay attention to agendas and stuff, and I'm just looking. I just looked at this. I didn't even look at the top.
I've been trying to pay attention to this tentative agenda, which seems to include something that they just already did.
Look for next council meeting.
Yeah, the next.
What is it?
This one is, well, what, they just voted on the planning codes update.
Not my department, but I'll listen.
So this is land use related portion, so maybe, I don't know what this is doing here.
It's part of the.
What am I missing? Who is Teresa waiting for?
No?
Our speakers are not here.
Changes.
What speakers?
Remember the first one?
So
Speaker
maybe-
series, the immigrant.
Oh! I saw commit. Okay.
Maybe this is tier 2, that might be what it means. Maybe deferred. But I didn't think they had a date for
Oh,
it.
maybe they're here.
Yeah.
The date's gonna be February 8th. Okay.
Well, like I said, if it was my department, I would love to help you, but
Google the security thing and all that.
แล้วแค่เดี๋ยวกันแครี่ลานอีกทีนี่แหละ
I think our speakers must be here. Yes.
oh yeah, I think I saw these names in the newspaper.
Karina? Yes. Karina. Karina.
Oh, yeah. No, you.
This is not
Oh, but okay.
This is it. Yeah. We got one speaker.
Okay.
You sit over there. Oh, you don't have to sign it.
Hi.
Sit over there at the end. Okay. You sit there so we could, when they take a picture. This is the place? Minka, is this place for him to sit?
That's fine. These are all live, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm not on yet, are we? Are you on? She's on.
Okay.
Okay.
You better get started.
I know.
Oh, no.
You can sit here. You can sit here.
I think it's waiting. Another speaker show up. Big Valerie. Valerie.
No, it's not live. No.
We're going to be taped for something else. Hi. Thank you.
Okay, we are waiting for two other speakers. Okay. Well, we can always switch things on the agenda. So, Chair and Ann, would you like to start?
Yes. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January meeting of the Palo Alto Human Relations Commission. We'll start with roll call.
Commissioner Alasani,
Here.
Commissioner Chen,
Here.
Commissioner Gordon Gray,
Here.
Chair Onan,
Here.
Commissioner Savage,
Here?
Commissioner Stinger, Vice Chair Stone.
Right. And are there any agenda changes, requests, or deletions for this evening? Well, as we've discussed, we may need to delay our speakers because we're still waiting for 2 of our speakers to come, but thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And so we may go ahead and proceed with another item on the agenda and then come back to the speakers so that everyone has time to get here. In the meantime, are there any oral communications from the public, which would be on something that's not listed on the agenda for this evening?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So no oral communications from the public? All right. Then our next item will be the approval of the November minutes.
I approve.
Wait a minute, sorry, I'm just distracted with, I'm seeing if that's one of our speakers. Okay, that's not one of our speakers, okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the November minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. So Commissioner Chen, we were just having a motion and a second to approve the November minutes.
Yeah.
So all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone who opposes or abstains? Then do we have enough to pass, Mary? Okay, so we now have approved the November minutes.
Don't press the button.
They're just on.
Oh, okay.
So mine is on too? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. All right, so our original first, and welcome to Councilmember Corey Wolbach, who is going to be our liaison for the year. Yay. Last year he was our alternate liaison, so thank you very much for bearing with us for yet another year. We're delighted to have you back.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So our first agenda item was going to be our new speaker series on the immigrant experience in Palo Alto, but we are waiting for a couple more speakers. So I propose that we go ahead and I think we cannot probably go to number 3, which is an update on the Homeless Vets Summit by Commissioner Al-Hassani. So Commissioner Mitchell, can you jump in and kind of get us started?
Sure. So, and Mink can chime in if there's anything I leave out, but so interesting.
So make sure you speak into the microphone.
Sure. So a couple interesting things happening. One is city staff submitted to City Council a report on Monday about homelessness in Santa Clara County, and in that they gave basically the same sort of summary sheet about the status of homeless vets in Santa Clara County in that report on Monday, and that came from Destination Home. And they also, in the report, also mentioned that they're going to be giving, I think so. Yeah, so sorry. So the thing that I'm referring to is the fact sheet on the last page of the report. So this came from Destination Home, and it's like a lot of the numbers we talked about at the summit. It also talked about the All the Way Home campaign, which is kind of the major initiative to end veteran homelessness in Santa Clara County. And I think it looks like city staff is going to give more information to City Council in the coming weeks, talking about the county's initiatives, and I think basically our efforts of the landlord education event are hopefully going to kind of roll up in this broader effort. So in a nutshell, we're looking forward to having this go to council and taking it from there, and hopefully getting council support as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Anyone have any comments or questions?
I was just curious why I think it's great that the city staff took on the report. What made the city staff in Palo Alto do that, since it's a county?
I assume it's because, well, it makes me talk about better.
Well, staff was interested in giving an update on the winter cold weather shelter in Sunnyvale, and felt it was important to give just a quick update on other homeless related topics. So that is what we did. Recently, at the Santa Clara County Cities Association meeting, the County of Santa Clara came, and they not only came to give information on Destinations Home community plan to end homelessness, they informed that group of the county's housing task force recent report, and if you look, it was in the Palo Alto Weekly that the Board of Supervisors recently passed a lot of recommendations in that, and they also spoke about the All the Way Home campaign, the homeless veteran campaign, and it just seemed a really good opportunity for staff to, instead of just informing the council of perhaps just the destination home report, that all these reports on homelessness was a great way of informing our council of what the county is doing, what the county might be looking for the cities to work in partnership. And the HRC's work on homeless vets fits in perfectly with All the Way Home campaign. It allows the council to really hear once again the great work that the HRC did with the Veterans Summit, and to really see that the HRC is interested in not just stopping with that one summit, but looking for follow-up opportunities, which we've already identified, but want to bring that to council to seek the direction on to what extent they'd like the city staff and HRC to continue to work on this, and hopefully, take the lead on this very important issue. So I think it'll be a way for the council really to get a really broad understanding of current thinking on homeless programs in the county, see what implications for Palo Alto, and to see human services staff and the HRC as partners in being able to address some of these issues that the report brings forth.
That's great. Any other comments or questions for Commissioner Al-Hassani? Well, I did want to mention that some time ago, the Human Relations Commission had an ongoing learning series on, affordable housing. And an issue that came up many times among our speakers was that there are housing certificates, say Section 8 housing through HUD and certain other programs, but landlords are very, very reluctant to take on those sorts of tenants. So even when there is housing, there's sort of an implicit bias against people who are eligible for those programs. And we heard that so often in our previous learning series that I think that a program such as Commissioner Al-Hassani's and Stone are proposing to bring to the North County would be very valuable, because landlords really do need to be educated around both the needs, the challenges, and the opportunities of housing veterans. And I think that there's kind of an untapped market there a little bit. And people are sometimes very caught up in their own prejudices, or they may have had a bad experience in the past and not be willing to give somebody a chance in the future. So I think education is often the way that you can kind of break through those types of barriers. So I'm glad that the HRC, particularly my colleagues, Commissioners Al-Hassani and Stone, are taking the lead on that. Because although it's wonderful that an event is being held in the South County, again, the North County often sort of gets overlooked, so it's important for us to put our own stake in the ground and do that. So thank you, Commissioner Alston. Okay, so anything else on this update about the homeless veterans? I think we're good. All right. So I think, we're still waiting for 2 other speakers?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't heard from them. They're supposed to call me if they're not showing up.
Okay, well, we'll take one more agenda item and then we'll turn to our speaker, the speaker who is here.
Yeah, okay.
Because we don't want to miss an opportunity to talk to you. All right, so if I can put my colleague, Commissioner Singer, on the spot. We're switching the agenda order around a little bit because some speakers are not yet here. We think they may be having problems parking. We're wondering are you ready to give us your update on the upcoming community forum on implicit bias?
Yeah, I am. And I agree. I'm sure that they're having trouble parking. We have a steering committee that met this week, 2 community members, human service staff, commissioner. We've confirmed dates and logistics place. We agreed on the tone and a vision for the session. We have a meeting planned for the week of January 25th where we'll vet some keynote speakers and participants. And that should set us up for a report back on the 11th of February.
And do we have a date yet for the event?
I'm sorry, it's March 30th, the Wednesday, 7 to 9, Mitchell Park.
Great.
So maybe Mary can make a note for staff so we can just send it out so you have that actually in an email. And what we could do is we could send it out as an Outlook request, so it shows up on your calendars if that
Yeah,
works
that'd
for
be
you.
Mhm.
Okay, so we will do that.
And I would, I'm just wondering, was the room actually reserved?
Yes, we have
Okay.
it reserved already.
Okay. And is it on the council's calendar?
It is not, because we were just waiting to have a little bit of a title and so forth, but
Okay.
that will happen as well.
Okay, that's
ASAP.
awesome. I'm excited.
I am too.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten off to a great start.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
please?
Valerie, who are the community members involved?
Can you use the mic, Valerie? It's hard to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Thank
think
you,
Sarah
Shelley.
was speaking this time.
Pastor Coloma Smith, University AME Zion Church, and Shelley Lewis, a Rabbi Emeritus of Colemuth.
Great.
I had a question.
Oh, yes.
You talked, it would be great to have a little more elaboration, as you said, the things you covered in the steering committee meeting, like you said, the tone, and well, you could.
Yeah, I wanted
elaborate
to
on that.
wait until we had vetted some of the speakers, and I could bring it back more formally.
Okay.
So when we get that invitation, everybody mark your calendars. It's important to come out and support our colleagues and the HRC events. And it's not too soon to start thinking about the next events, because we're hoping to do maybe 3 of these a year. So if any of you have ideas about what you'd like to step up and do coming up in a year, we'll probably should do an event maybe in the summer and then another one in the fall. That would probably be good timing. So it's not too early to start thinking about those things, even though it seems like we just started the new year.
Right.
And I think that's Arthur Keller walking by. Okay, so we're having quite the evening today with lots of
Right.
traffic in and out.
Quite good that I can't look this way.
Yeah.
I'll look this way.
I'm sorry, did you have a comment, Councilmember Wolbach?
Just that I think that there is
Something on
there are other events happening, so
Yes.
that's why.
Yeah, there's a lot in the council.
on March 30th or behind us? Okay.
Yeah, we already got yelled at and told not to touch somebody's food, so I know something else is going on. Okay, all right, so any other comments or questions about the upcoming implicit bias awareness event? Well, thank you, Commissioner Singer. You did great on the fly, even though we totally flip-flopped our agenda. All right, so now we're going to go back to what was going to be our first agenda item. I think we're still missing one speaker, but I think we need to go ahead and proceed.
It's a student, but he's not here yet.
Okay, well, let's get started, and maybe that student will be here by the time our first 2 speakers come. So I thought I'd just introduce a teeny bit and then turn it over to Commissioner Chen for some additional
Sure,
speaking. So as you know, in the past, we have had some learning series. One that I mentioned previously was on affordable housing. And at our annual retreat, I asked my colleagues if there were some other topics that we'd like to explore by having speakers come and talk to a certain theme or topic over maybe a series of months or maybe over the course of a year. So a topic that we all were very intrigued by was the immigrant experience here in Palo Alto. The demographics of our city have changed a lot in recent years. We've had a lot more people moving here from other countries. So we really wanted to learn more about how they integrate into and engage with the community. We came up with a short list of questions that we thought we would ask the different people who might come and speak to us, and we're going to ask people from various cultures and backgrounds to come. Our first speakers for that series were arranged by my colleague Commissioner Chen, and they are coming from China, and they're going to talk about their experience here. So I'm going to let Commissioner Chen introduce our speakers for the evening.
Sure, thank you. What I have been doing is I talked to my neighbor, Deborah Chan, who is just next door to me, and then she's happened to be the PTA, Chinese PTA chairman for the city of Palo Alto, the school district. So she was very enthusiastic. So she helped me to recruit 3 speakers. So you're 2 of the speakers here, and then we have a few questions. I think we email you the questions that we have in mind to ask you. But it doesn't matter. I can remind you. I have a list as well. And so I can introduce this Miss Karina Lee, and that's Mr. Ki Pin Chai. And then they're going to talk about their experience as immigrants in the United States, especially living in Palo Alto. Okay. Karina, want to start?
Yeah. So I'm a new immigrant, but actually it's not that brand new. I came here last July. I came from Hong Kong, and before I came to Hong Kong, I was in Beijing, in China. I came here. The reason is very simple because of pollution. My kids have very serious pollution problem. That's why I have to find a plane. It's clear and is very friendly to Asian people. That's why it bring us here. And when I first came here, I do met with a lot of difficulties. For example, language, and also because we don't have any relatives and friends here. I do have a little friend, but it's not that, or we can say acquaintance. It's not that friend. So both my kids and my family experience a really hard time, especially the kids. They always want to go back because especially my sixth grader one. The elder you are, it's not easy for you to hang out with the new friends. So it's really hard for us at that time. But after a few months, right now he said he can survive, and right now he got a lot of few friends, and me the same. I have a few friends, but quite strange that all of my friends right now are Chinese people. I try to make friends with my neighbor. I did host a party, housewarming party. I try to make new friends, and because I don't know what to talk with them. That's a problem. I just say hi, and we don't share the same the topic of common interest, and especially all my neighbor more than 70 years old. Most of them are quite old, and we don't have a lot of common interests. And I don't know how to start, how to make friends here with local people, let alone to say how to understand their culture and their habits. So it's really hard. We do want to have some kind of seminar or kind of a communities activities for us to get involved. Actually, when I was back in Hong Kong and in Beijing, I'm a quite active volunteer in many in our neighborhood, in school. But here, I don't know how to get started.
What do you think the city of Palo Alto can help you to get started? Something that you wanted to do to involve in the community. How can we help you?
Actually, I know there's a lot of resources because for me, my language is okay, so I can just read the newspaper, and I can just search from the internet and find out some Enjoy. There's Enjoy online, for us to get involved in many, and up to us and to get involved into my kids, the school's community activities. But I also want to have some activities for the adults like me, like my age group, and play. Because actually, right now I don't work here, so I feel socially isolated.
Yes, I can understand that. Have you been actively seek, look for, see if there's, there's resources in the library? And
the library?
Library, yeah.
I help the school library work, and also Monica. Last time he launched a kind of it's an earthquake, that help us to understand the earthquake knowledge, and I try to get involved. But I want to make friends with the local people to understand. You don't just want to live here, survive here, and you need to be
connected to the community.
Connected with socially and emotionally.
Exactly. But it sounds like that you don't have a good channel to get to navigate, to get
Yeah.
involved with the social activities in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think that at least I can communicate with people in English. But I know there are a lot of new immigrants of my kinds. Their language is really poor. And for them, they just shut the door from the outside. They just live in the Chinese community, and they eat totally Chinese food. And they don't have, actually, they don't watch any newspaper or magazines of the local news. Actually, they just care about their own thing, because they have no way out. I think that they are quite struggling.
So same questions as the other gentleman.
Yeah. Do you want to start?
I think maybe if you toggle back and forth, it might.
Okay. Do you want to start, Mr. Tai? Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Wayne. I came here 2.5 years ago. I come from Shanghai, China. My occupation is a futures trader. I can work everywhere if there is internet. There are three major reasons our family immigrated to the United States. The first, I had lived in Shanghai for 19 years. I think life is short. There are not several 20 years for a person's lifetime, so I want to challenge myself to move into a new environment. The second reason, my son is 14 years old. He is 8th grader in Terman Middle School. He graduated a public elementary school in Shanghai. I think the earth is becoming a village. Next generation should be world citizen first. The American education is the most advanced in the world. So I want to let my son get a better education. This is the second reason. The third one, these years, China has made great progress in economy, but the air is getting dirty because of industrial pollution. So our family immigrate to the United States. Before I came here, I have never been to North California, but I think I'm lucky. I chose a good place as my second home. There is nice weather, and the community is inclusive. I think more than 50% in Palo Alto, in Bay Area, comes from different countries. Although I'm a foreigner, but I don't look on myself as a foreigner. During the past half and 2 years, I lived happy, but challenging. The most challenging for me is language and culture. I try my best to improve my English. I often read the newspaper, watch TV, listen to the radio. I think I improved greatly. But sometimes I can't understand others completely. I think language is most difficult for me. I take active part in the events hosted in my son's current school. I often take active part in events for parent volunteers. It's fun. I also want to participate in Palo community life, but I don't know what's the channel. I hope the city council can help our newcomers host some events for us to be easy to participate the community life. I think we can contribute our strengths. The second challenges is different culture. We have no relatives and old friends here. We want to make new local friends, but we don't know how to begin. This is my big question.
I think you pretty much have a similar
Yeah,
questions
I think
in how to connect it with people in the community.
Yeah,
Is that right?
I think that most of the new immigrants met with the same problem. They don't know how to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have a work here, if I have a job, so I think it might be easier for me to get started because you got a lot of colleagues to deal with, so it might be easier.
Right.
But right now, I know that many new immigrants from China, they don't work here. They don't have a work because most of them, a lot of them are quite well established in China,
Of course, yeah.
and because of the China have a deteriorating environment right now, and also the politically, so that's why many people try to come to a better place. I think that Palo Alto, especially this area, is the best area for not only for Asian. I think that for people because the technology, the weather, everything is so attractive for many people. That's why many Chinese people. I know many of my friends, and they want to come here because they know this is one of the best places in the world. They think, but if you don't have a work. Even if before we came here, we do a lot of investment in China, but we don't have channel here. I know here is very active in VC and the startup company, but we came here with nobody to know that we don't know where to invest, how to invest. We don't have a lot of connections. Yeah. And also for the community work I know that we can just from the PTA we find a lot of resources, but it's kids related, and also we can say that we want something more than that.
Yeah. Mrs. Chan, I'm curious. You said you don't have to go to work either. You just go. You do your home.
I'm a self-employed.
Oh, so
I work at home.
So you just use a computer and
Yeah.
do trading.
Yeah.
So you don't have colleagues to talk
Yeah.
to either.
A lot of Chinese friends had no work here, but they live more than half a year here. We often play golf together, but we all have no new local friends. If we can participate in community life, I think we can benefit to each other. Can you help us to build some channels to to begin.
Okay. Well, I want to ask the fellow commissioners, do you understand what Ms. Chai is saying? You need my interpretation?
No.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, good.
Yeah, very good English.
Okay.
Thank you.
All your hard work has paid off.
Yeah.
Do we have some questions?
I do have a question. Can you think back to when you first arrived, you and 6 months ago, and I guess you 2.5 years ago? What were the surprises when you first started to enroll your children in school, when you first started to
What
be in the
price?
what surprised you? Was
What
different
didn't you
than
expect, maybe?
it was different than what you expected, or
So what attracted me here, right?
No. What was shocking? What you didn't expect when you came here? What you didn't expect that?
In fact, everything is very good. You know, my kids, after a few months, when they make a comparison between here and Hong Kong, they say this is a paradise. And one sentence is enough to explain. Yeah. So everything here is good, and the people here are very friendly. I don't feel any prejudice, and the life is very easy. Nothing surprised. Here's really good. Just I don't know how to build up the personal relationship with other people. I don't know how to build up friendship. I don't know how to start up with my own company here, because I'm doing the investment back in China. But right now here, I don't know the local people, so I have no way to find out where to invest or where is a new technology. Because I know here is a place of new technology, but personally we don't have any connection with here. So some seminar of the culture and of the business investment, much more appreciated.
Well, I don't know if the city can help you on the business side, because
Yeah.
I think we would all love to know what to
I was going
invest
to
in.
say, you find out, let us know.
Maybe Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, but I would
Chamber of
say that,
Commerce,
just so you know, as the Human Relation Commission that we are, we oversee many of the local nonprofits, and many of these agencies work with our local residents, and often these are people who really need help, like our seniors, for example. And many times we hear that they wish they had volunteers who spoke Chinese, because the Chinese seniors have so much trouble communicating. Their English is very limited. So if I don't know if either one of you is maybe ever interested in volunteering to work with seniors, even maybe one day a week, I think there's opportunities like that where you can go, and you don't have to work just with the seniors, because you'll be working with staff people who are more your own age.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be working with people of all ages and all races and all backgrounds. But this might be a way to start to meet people and also do some good for the community,
Yeah.
to help yourself build connections. I don't know if you're interested in volunteer opportunities, but we work with many agencies, and if you are interested, we can help point you to certain directions.
So, where can I get all this information? So just to I know that you mentioned.
I think Minka can help, and we can help you also, because we work with over 16 agencies, and Chinese. We have struggled even recently in doing outreach to seniors where we needed Chinese speakers, and Commissioner Chen really had to do the whole thing almost by herself.
Oh, you mean the Chinese speaker? Translate English or translate
Because
Chinese?
we want to reach out to the community, but a big part of the community doesn't speak English, so we're trying to bridge the gap as well. So you're trying to meet people, and you speak both languages. So I know you've been talking about business opportunities, and as I said, we can't help too much there. But if you want to get started actually connecting just on a personal level with people, maybe volunteering, even occasionally, you might get to meet people and start to build personal connections that way. And one way in would be to volunteer your language skills, because we really have a big need for people who can speak
understand
Chinese.
Good, yeah.
I have a question. Does the city have a welcome packet? I know a lot of cities have welcome packets. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because this has been part of a bigger conversation. I think we're at the precipice of doing a lot of what we're hoping to do a lot of what you're bringing up. Staff has been in conversation on many levels, thinking of how we can welcome and integrate newcomers to the community. And that's in the community in the level that you're talking about, knowing how to
I think that's it.
connect with people, learning where things are, learning how, well, at home, when you had to have this problem, this is who you called. So it's kind of integrating into the community. It's kind of, so that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is, so that's for new immigrants and just new people to the area. That one of the other things we're talking about is the welcome packet. We do not have a welcome packet, and that's on staff's to-do list for this year. We did a lot of good work in the Healthy City, Healthy Community resolution that went to council this fall, and part of that work is just looking into welcoming people in the community. So a lot of the stuff that you were talking about today, I took extra notes. Commissioner Chen has been part of some conversations already on how we as a community, as a city, as a county can welcome newcomers to our community, how we can help them integrate culturally, but just to teach you about commissions, how the city works, and that type of thing. So you're on the very beginning stages of that, and I think what you've said tonight and any other advice you can give us will help us as we, develop these ideas and so forth.
That's great. So if Ms. Chen want to start to start the welcoming package, I can help to translate.
Right, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's not something we'll have done from today or tomorrow, but we are definitely at the stage
Right.
where we really
Right.
want to
I
make
can
something,
learn.
because we know it's not just a matter of translating from English to another language. We
It's-
know that it's much more involved in that to really be relevant to what we call, new friends in our community.
Yeah, we can bring in more people of our hands, and we can just work on that. So, and we can make some leaflet. So, yeah, we send it to the Chinese community and let more people get involved. And I think it's quite an interesting thing for us to do, because the Chinese people here, we do have a lot of social in our own
Right.
Chinese friends, but we talk not quite irrelevant from the things happen here. We just like it's like that we are living in China. We're talking about Chinese thing with Chinese friends,
Right.
and Chinese politics and Chinese news have nothing to do with life here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think many people I know that want to get involved.
I hear you.
Yeah, we are working with the county representative and Minka, of course, and then also Monica. We had a meeting on December 12th, 16th. I was going to say later that we are planning an event, a welcoming event, and then now we decided, this is a good thing to do, but we haven't decided how to do it, when to do it yet. So it's in progress.
Yeah. Just different ideas are coming forward to
That's
see
right.
which
That's right.
which would be the best.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe Karina could be an advisor.
Yeah, next time meeting,
Really?
you're welcome to come.
Both
to
of you.
talk. Yeah, both of you.
That's one way to participate.
The other thing I heard about it is I met someone at our American church, but this lady is from China, and then I asked her, "What are you doing?" She says she does interpretation at the Stanford Hospital. So they need interpretation between doctors and patients. I think the way to do it, you don't have to be there. I think it's by telephone. And then that's a good thing for you to volunteer as well. Yeah.
Good. But before I came here, I don't know these opportunities.
Of course,
Yeah.
The questions.
Or just a comment, I was thinking, I hate to bring other staff colleagues into the discussion, but the library does so many programs, like Chinese Story Hour, different language story hours. There might be some opportunities for adult discussion groups at the library.
Yeah.
Or forums that would be helpful, besides the welcome forum, either organized by the library or organized by citizens using the conference rooms. You're reserving a conference room and having a program, inviting a speaker that you think would be interesting and help you either on the social aspect, the school community aspect, or maybe the business aspects.
You know, I want to ask you, where would be a good place to talk to Chinese people like your age, and the one that's middle-aged and actively working? Because what I've done something.
Yeah.
You know, I spoke at the Senior Friendship Day. I make slides, Chinese and English, about the structure of City of Palo Alto, all the commissions, and I talked to them. But I think I talked to the wrong audience, because they are elderly people. I don't think they really, you know, have the big impact. Well, I can do the same thing for, you know, like a population at your age or maybe younger, and they're interested and involved in the city or, you know, community work. I'd be glad to do that.
And I wanted to add too that although there are opportunities to use your Chinese language skills, I think both of you are interested in connecting with local people of all backgrounds. I mean, you don't want to stay exclusively in the Chinese community. At least I hope that you're open to meeting people of all backgrounds. Yeah. And some good ways to do that are, there are often like book groups, book clubs that say the library runs, that it's a book, you know, that somebody picks and then it's read in English, but people from all backgrounds participate. And then you go and talk, you know, all read the book and then all come together to discuss the book. And there are film clubs that do a similar thing where you agree to watch a film together and then discuss it afterward. That's a way to meet people from all kinds of different backgrounds. And you'll have something in common because you'll all be reading the same book or you'll all be watching the same film. And another great place to really connect with the community, I have to put a shout out in to the Y, because the Y here in Palo Alto, the YMCA, I don't know if you're familiar.
I never been there.
I've been there.
Oh,
Try it.
Yeah, it is one of the most diverse gathering places in all of Palo Alto. On a typical day at the Y, I hear French, Russian, Chinese, Hebrew, English, Farsi, every language, I mean, practically every language under the sun, and people from all over, because this community has people from all over. And it's a great family place for you and your kids, but it's also great just for you as adults to come take classes, meet people, you have so much fun, and, you know, stay in good physical shape and just enjoy the recreation options. So it's almost like a big community center. So I really, really urge you, especially like say you're working at home, if you start to feel isolated, maybe you want to come to the Y, take a class for an hour, meet people. It's just, it lifts your spirits, it helps you make friends. I've made many, many friends at the Y over the years. Some of them are Chinese and some of them are from other cultures, and I would never know these people except because I work at home also, but I met them because I go out to the Y and they're in I'm sitting next to them in a class or dancing next to them on some other class and swimming next to them in the pool or whatever it is. So I really urge you to look into that.
Good idea.
YMCA.
YMCA, yeah. We all know.
Ross Road.
Yeah,
There's one.
Rush Road.
Yeah. Although I belong to the Mountain View one because it's even bigger and more awesome. Sorry. But any of the Ys around here are very
Stop
similar.
being bitter about yours closing.
My little Y closed, and I am bitter, sorry. But I still am. But any of the Ys will have that kind of great, really great diverse community exposure. So if isolation is a problem, I really urge you to take a look at that. And I think your kids will love it also. The opportunities to sign them up for camp, swim lessons, tennis lessons, all kinds of basketball teams, all kinds of fun things that the kids can do. They'll really enjoy it. Okay, that's my plug for the Y.
I just had one other idea. I don't know if you're familiar with Meetup. You know about meetup.com?
No.
It is what it says it is. So people type in the things that they are interested in, like hiking, for example. Let's say you like to hike. So then you type in hiking and the zip code, and then you'll find all these groups. And in fact, there's a lot of Chinese people who hike, and it turns out. So I have found that to be very helpful. And I know people who've moved to other cities, and they're trying to meet people, and it's not that easy. And you know, they go to Meetup and
Actually, all this information is really useful because, you know, before I came here, I didn't even know that. Because the Chinese, my Chinese friends, they never talk about that. I think that they know YMCA. I heard about this name, but I never think about going there by myself because I don't know what it's for. I just know this is a club, but I don't know. That's so fun to be there. So if there's a welcome package to.
Not yet. I know.
We're excited.
I know.
Yeah. It's called Meet Us.
Meet up.
Meet
MEETUP.
us.
One word.
Up.
Meet up.
Can I just write it down? Meet us.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I have a question. I came here have been here for 2.5 years. But my son, the bike has been stolen for 3 times. This is to my surprise.
This is our police liaison.
The first time his bike was stolen in the apartment when we rent the apartment. The second time he go to Safeway was stolen. We don't know whether to report to the police.
Oh, definitely report it to the police. They have so many bikes that there are auctions to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So, and there is a way to engrave some kind of identification mark on it. But bike, it's a problem.
And they were locked both times?
Yeah, I was going to say, were they?
No.
You gotta lock it.
Get a bike lock.
Now he is locked.
That wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, Councilmember Walbeck?
So just to introduce myself, my name is Corey Wolbach. I'm a member of the City Council, and I'm the liaison to the Human Relations Commission from the Council. I think you've heard excellent recommendations today. The YMCA meetup is a very useful resource as well. For business connections, the Chamber of Commerce was mentioned. Actually, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, her name is Judy Kleinberg. She's a former mayor of Palo Alto as well. So she knows the community very well, and if you're interested in meeting people in the business community, I'm sure the Chamber would be a good organization to connect with. And yeah, I think that it's like a Venn diagram, right? Overlapping circles. And you described the Chinese community in Palo Alto as having a strong community, but not having much overlap with the English-speaking community.
Yeah.
And so the question is, how do we increase the overlap? So I appreciate what the Human Relations Commission has done in inviting you here, and you're coming and offering even to help. And I would say, if I could offer just maybe 1 or 2 other recommendations, like the things that have been discussed, and Meetup is a good example, or Avenidas, if you want to volunteer. Any opportunity to volunteer in something that is of interest to you I'm not sure what the culture of volunteerism is like in China, but in the Bay Area and in Palo Alto in particular, it's very strong. People are parts of lots of nonprofits that they are interested in, several that are environmental. And because you both mentioned how one of the main things that brought you here was the cleaner environment, and how strongly Palo Altans care about the environment, I would recommend maybe taking a look at some of the local organizations which are focused on environmental issues, such as Axterra, Canopy, which works with the trees in Palo Alto. Environmental Volunteers is another good one. So I would recommend just maybe doing a Google search or a Meetup search for environmental volunteering in Palo Alto. You'll find lots of options, and then also people who are involved in the community as well.
I went to East Palo Alto, the Bay Shore, the Bay Shore, and pick up the garbage. Yeah, it's interesting. All the Chinese people, they stay together, and the Western, the Caucasian, they stay together. So don't have a lot of overlap. Yeah, we went there twice to pick up it. Yeah.
You're already doing it.
But you're saying it's kind of separate. It's still
yeah,
kind of
it's still,
separate,
you can see the two group. It's quite strange. Yeah, two group. Yeah.
Even when you were there, that
Yeah.
Venn diagram still did not have much overlap.
Yeah.
It's, I guess, a challenge for,
It's kind of challenging.
for all of us.
Because I know that they don't know how to start, they don't know how to talk with you, and you don't know how to, yeah. Because it's quite weird to talk with them, you know. I don't know what to talk.
When you, I have a question. When you are with, like, your Chinese community, do you mostly speak Mandarin?
Yeah, most of my.
Because I notice personally for myself, that's kind of a barrier, because I think, oh,
Yeah.
you don't speak English, I don't speak Chinese
Yeah.
or Mandarin, so.
Yeah.
So I wonder about that, you know, if there's anything to address there. You know,
Yeah.
speaking English might, you know, get more integrated. I don't know, that's my.
Yeah.
How do you?
No, you go ahead.
How did you guys learn English? Is it online, or you took classes, or?
Read the newspaper, watch TV, listen to the radio.
Wow.
I learned from in my college. In my major is English. That's why where I learned. So, but here, I talk with my kids. My kids speak English. Yeah.
Do you think it'd be useful if either the city or a community organization offered free English classes to people, other immigrants would find that useful?
I didn't go there.
There are classes.
Oh, there are.
There are
Adult
free.
school.
Free?
I don't think so. Free. You have to pay for it. Adult school.
I would just encourage you, because you both speak English very well, to you know, reach out to people and make sure they understand that they can talk to you. Because I think that my colleague, Commissioner Gordon Gray, is correct that I think when English speakers hear Chinese, they assume that that person doesn't speak English. Then they won't make the effort. So then, unfortunately, that barrier remains. So you both have a gift in that you both speak English very well. So make sure that you're like extending that gift. You know, if people hear you speaking English, they brighten up and they say, yes, I can speak, I can communicate. Otherwise, they're trying to be respectful. They say, oh, well, you know, let's leave them alone because they don't really speak English. I don't want to torture them by trying to talk to them when they don't understand me. That's the mistake that the English speakers are making, because we're all assuming. We're assuming things about the Chinese community. So it's good that you're making us aware that we shouldn't make these assumptions.
I have a question. Can you help the new Chinese comers host some events, help them to know the results of the Palo Alto, the culture, the channel to community, to the local resident? I think this can help the new Chinese comer to participate the community life better. This is my suggestion.
That's a good suggestion. I think we're thinking along the lines, yeah. We haven't really done anything yet, but this is one thing we're thinking about. We're planning.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner?
I have another question. What about registering to vote, the election process? Is that something that you've mastered or something you have trouble with or need some?
We all have citizens.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about, I have a peripheral involvement with the League of Women Voters, and they do a lot of outreach and forums at election time, and I wonder if they should be doing more outreach to the Chinese community to explain how to register, how to read the ballot, how to understand the proposition.
I only have a green card.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
not
say,
a citizen.
You're not citizens yet. Got it.
You're not a citizen,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you have to live here like 5 years.
5 years and then take a test.
Yeah. So not yet, but someday.
Oh, and I just wanted to bring up one thing. Corey mentioned the Chamber of Commerce president, Judy Kleinberg. She is here tonight. She's in the next room, and she's going to be out here in when the food is served. So I would be happy to make the introduction if you're inclined.
That's great.
If she gets out on time.
Right.
So are there any other questions or comments for our speakers, or do our speakers have any other questions for us? This has been a very interactive session, which has been great. Do you have any more questions for us or any comments for us?
No.
I don't know if you're the why.
You could always talk to us, we have online, we have email online, right, on the website. Do we have a website? Our email
You
website.
have, I have to check. At
I know
one,
mine is.
at one point, it was just your name at HRC.
But anyway, email
Yes.
HRC and they'll get to us.
The same with the city council. If you or any of your friends or ever want to reach out to either an individual member of the city council, feel free to contact me. My phone number and email is on the city website, and you can also email the whole city council. But we're definitely available and happy to communicate anytime.
Well, thank you both so much for
Yeah,
coming
thank you.
tonight
You're
and
very welcome.
sharing your
It's great to hear.
experience.
It's great to hear you.
And
Thank you.
I want to say thank you to my colleague Commissioner Chen for arranging our speakers and kicking off our new speaker series on the immigrant experience. It's been wonderful to hear, although I'm glad that you both love Palo Alto and think that you've moved to a wonderful area, and I hope that you only feel more welcome and more connected as time goes by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know it's only a half year here, so as time goes on, I think that I can know better of the community life here.
I think it does get better the longer you stay.
Actually, the city organization is quite functional because just now you mentioned that all the chamber member is open to the public, and you will respond if I give you an email. You respond me. But in China, it's run differently. That's why we never think about that way.
We have a lot of openness here,
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
the
Palo Alto
difference.
in California particularly has got a lot of transparency in our government. I know that's kind of a different experience for some people coming from other countries. But yeah, you can meet our city leaders. You're sitting right next to one of them. So.
Oh, yay.
And 6 more right here.
All right, well, thank you very much, and we hope that we'll hear good things from you. Maybe we'll get an update in a few months and see how you're doing. And
Okay,
yeah,
good.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
and if there's anything that you want to follow up with, maybe can Minka, do you have a card? I do. Okay, we can contact Minka.
Contact
If you're student
She'll-
volunteers, or we can
she'll
help.
find
Or
us.
we can help. Yeah.
Check back with her on that welcome back.
Yeah. Minka's under the gun now.
Pressure's on.
We just started.
Seems that we are pushing that.
Yeah, it's good to push. I think I might only have. Okay, well, I think I cleaned the purse out and it didn't happen. Aha! You got
Got
that?
one?
I do. I think I'll make sure that's the right one, yeah. There you go.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I have no business card.
That's okay. We'll forgive you this time. Thank you both very much, and we hope that we'll hear good things from you soon.
Okay, good. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, 谢谢。
Do you excuse us? Okay. Should we go? Have a good night.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye-bye.
night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And so I think we kicked off our first immigrant experience speakers session very well. I'm sorry that the student didn't make it, but maybe we can have one of a youth come in a future to talk about what it's like to move here and start school here and
Right.
try to integrate,
Right,
because I'm
yes.
sure kids have their own unique perspective on that, which would be good for us to hear as well.
Maybe too much homework.
Maybe. That could be. All right, so we'll move on to I think it's our final order of business, which is follow up on the next steps of our review of the comprehensive plan update. And I believe we had focused on the community services section. And so
Right.
Commissioner Chen had attended some of that meeting. And then did you have an update on that?
I did update last time.
I actually did an update.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering when I saw Commissioner Chen's name here.
Right, I saw that today too, and I said, I don't think Commissioner Chen knows that. So I just wanted to give an update. Mary provided at Places a copy of the HRC recommendations, first draft by Commissioner Singer, second draft by Chair Onan, that went to the subcommittee of the Citizens Advisory Committee for the Community Services element. As you recall, we gave this to that subcommittee at places, and they, did not discuss it that night, but said they were going to look at it at a subcommittee meeting, of which they did. Our director and assistant director in community services were at that meeting, heard a lot of the working of that subcommittee. They had another meeting last night, and they presented yet another version of this. So what I have done in collaboration with our new assistant director in community services is we went through each of the suggestions that you all made, and to see what became of those suggestions. So if you'd like, I can report back on that right now. Would that be of interest?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and we do have copies, if you would like, of the latest version of that. We did not bring the last version along. Things are moving around. This is so fluid that I, even between the last version and this version, tried to find things that were moved around, and it's a little challenging because some actually moved around in different goals of the plan. So I'll just keep that now for reference. I think trying to take what I'm telling you and trying to find it in here, I think it's a little too much. I had both plans open and I was toggling between them. So the first one was a comment on Palo Alto taking leadership role across jurisdiction lines. It just said HRC asked that to be called out a little bit more. What it was changed is Palo Alto take leadership roles and working with other communities in the Mid-Peninsula area and the Greater Bay Area. So basically your suggestion was taken. The second one regarding the child care providers and seniors, that is out of the plan now. So that suggestion was taken.
I'm sorry, are we looking at this?
We are looking at this document right here.
Yeah, I don't see the child care. What am I?
It's right here that actually the actual when Chair Onan did this, she didn't state what the old policy was. She just gave a comment to it. So at this point, I can just, I can't tell you exactly the wording of it, but number 2 basically had something to do with that we should have grandparents work at child care agencies to help take the burden off of the providers, which is just not realistically possible. So
you're talking about C-1.11?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll just refer to it by the subsection to help you move through the document.
Okay.
So then there's the next one, C1 12.1. That there was no change. So that there was no change to that one. So that suggestion was not taken. So the next one, C.116, that was, they felt like that was digging a little further down than the comp plan was doing right now. So staff really felt that kind of coordination of services would be determined later. But, okay. Then top of the next page, C120, that comment was taken. And it is now element C.5.4. And I can send this out to you afterwards because at this point, my main purpose is just to tell you, in most instances, that your comments were heard and they are integrated into the new plan. So that was mainly key, adding depression. The term depression along with serious mental illness as a leading cause of suicide. So adding depression is a key focus area. The next one, C.122, that was, that was adding senior nutrition, transportation, mental health as key issues that the city should be addressing as key factors in the healthy aging of the community. Those exact words were added. So that was a win there. The next section, C.125, was to add in the section for regarding disabilities in the comp plan that we call out mental and cognitive disabilities, not just physical ones, and it was just physical ones before. That is in the plan right now, so that's another win. The next section, C.58, that was a section that talked about integrating new people into the community, and the old language just talked about newcomers and new arrivals, and the language stayed as broad as it was before. So any more specific language actually was not added. That does not mean, because a lot of this is digging down pretty deep into a program suggestion, so that wasn't made, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen. So then we go to I'm going to make sure I was already on page 2. Page 3. So these are all the suggestions regarding senior transportation. So this is the area of the comp plan talking about shuttle transportation routes, and then the next section down was adding more specifics about seniors with mobility issues. Those changes were not incorporated into the plan. So those were not. So if you're looking, they didn't incorporate any of that language. So that's where we are now. This is going to council on February 1st. And the packet, it's too early for the packet to be available, so whatever latest version of this will be going to council with an introductory packet by probably planning staff. I'm not sure if the presentation will be just planning staff or if the members of the Community Advisory Committee are also going to give comment. And that's it. I can't speak for the HRC. You know, if you want to go to that meeting and make any further comments, or if you want to go and thank the subcommittee for taking your suggestions or anything like that. But about 85 to 90% of your suggestions were incorporated into the revision.
Great. So is that incorporated in this now?
Yes, it is.
Draft? Okay.
It is. Now, if you so desire, I can, go back in. Like I said, it was a little tough, and I kind of did it. I could tell you where specifically each one of these are. I did make notes, but it's a little too difficult just to say, now please go to flip back and forth between, and this numbering is even a little confusing, C1, 12.1, and so forth. So I can, if you'd like, I can call those out and tell you exactly what page to look for it.
Thank you, Minka. I'm really glad so many of our suggestions were incorporated into the revised comp plan. I wish they would have gone on and included some of our recommendations around wording for seniors, just because I think that seniors get kind of lumped in with everybody else, and they do have special needs, and I kind of wish that the language would spell out some of those special needs, but maybe the answer is for some of us HRC commissioners to show up at the next meeting and advocate some more. And I want to make a case for including some more language around seniors, especially seniors with limited mobility, because we want to ensure access to all those things and amenities.
Yeah. So the next meeting, there is not another meeting, to best of my knowledge, of the subcommittee. The next meeting would be the council meeting on February 1st.
Yeah.
You might need to show up.
The city council meeting, not the advisory council?
No, it's the city council meeting. The city council is getting a briefing on this element.
I see.
And it's on the 8th?
It is on the 1st.
Oh, okay.
February 1st.
Okay.
So if just to let you know procedurally, you can go as individual commissioners and say, This was discussed at an HRC meeting. This is kind of the thrust of the conversation. I am one member, but if you're going and you want to say the HRC would like you to consider this, then you would have to take a vote and empower one of the commissioners here to speak on your behalf.
Yeah, I think maybe we should see who's able to go as an individual and just kind of thank the CAC for including so many of our comments. And if, I mean, I feel strongly that I would like them to have included even a little bit more about seniors, but others of you may not feel quite as strongly about that. So I don't know that I speak for the whole HRC, but I know I think I will consider attending that meeting just to, give some voice to the fact that it's easier to forget people if the language isn't there, and it's harder to forget people if things are spelled out. And that's why I think it might be worth spelling out some of the special needs of seniors. So is that okay with everybody, or do you actually want to take a vote and empower somebody who might be me or could be another commissioner to speak on our entire behalf?
I mean, do we need to have a discussion about that's the issue that we want to bring forth to the city council?
Yeah, we would have to discuss it, vote, and empower somebody. And that's why I'm saying it might be better just to see who shows up. It may be, and it may be that no one shows up. I mean, it depends on who feels strongly and who might speak. But if whoever speaks, if they would just be, speaking on their own behalf and not on behalf of the commission. And I would be.
But as a commissioner, you said, and speak as a commissioner?
You can say this was the gist of the conversation at the HRC meeting. I'm one member. There was discussion about this, but you can't say the opinion of the HRC is such. Because that's not something that you were empowered to do. So you can follow the chair's direction in deciding how you want to proceed.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Because we're talking about how the council interprets.
I know, as a matter of fact.
So I might be able to actually take some of this back to council with myself. And also get some more clarification about how much commissioners are able to say. This was already passed by the HRC?
This was
document?
the HRC identified some issues at a meeting and were clear about what issues that they had concerns about. Then they empowered the commissioner. They empowered a statement to be crafted that was given to the CAC, and that was done.
And so that statement reflected the opinion of the HRC?
Yes.
Yes.
So would simply pointing out that this was the position of the HRC, X was accepted, Y was rejected, is simply just
That's
pointing
true.
out what factually happened.
That'd be good. I appreciate that.
If you guys want to take a vote, it wouldn't hurt, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so in other words, I think we'd already approved this once, that it spoke on behalf of the HRC, and so a subset of things were left out, or was left out. So do we want to say that we're good with me or whoever shows up at that February 1st meeting, just speaking out to council that we would like those subset of things to possibly be included?
Yeah.
I have a slightly different take. I did go to the meeting on December 16th, and I was really impressed with the thoughtfulness of the subcommittee and the staff, the director who was there. And I guess I always would want to speak for seniors because it's such a need in our community and it's something we identified. But I also understand there's wanting to make this a little bit more global and not call out too many specific programs because it's not a programming document. So I think while I'd like to say seniors are really important to us, I'd at the same time like to say I really respect the process that went into this and the care that went into it and the amount of work that went into it.
No, I definitely do too. I think where I have a concern though is that people who write things like the comp plan tend to be active, healthy people. And I think they sometimes forget that not everybody in the community is active and healthy. it's just really easy to forget people who are housebound or in wheelchairs or you just don't see out and about very much. And so I'm worried that not only are seniors tending to be overlooked in general, but the more frail, less healthy seniors are even more likely, they're just not even on the radar. It's not a malicious thing, it's just that they're just not visible, and so people are forgetting about them. And that's where I do think that when things are called out in a document like this, it just is a reminder, oh yeah, not everybody can just hop on the shuttle and get down and come to a concert. You know, there are people that are a little more frail. And we're going to have more of this type of person going forward. I mean, so that's another concern. We're not going to see fewer seniors, we're going to have more and more seniors. And people are going to be living to be 100 in those last 10, 20 years of their life are going to be more frail. So I'm kind of more on the let's speak up on behalf of these folks. I mean, when we were doing the outreach to seniors for the shuttle survey, many of the seniors were so excited that someone was even asking their opinion about something because they felt so marginalized. And they were excited that, I said, the city council is going to be looking at the shuttle and revamping it, and this is all going to be happening next year. And one of the ladies said to me, but one of those meetings, and I said, well, usually the city council meets in the evening, and she said, well, I can't go, I can't drive at night, I can't see.
Because there's no shuttle.
Yeah, and there's, and there's no evening shuttle, and she was so excited, and then she was so deflated. So even things like when meetings are held, it cuts people off and shuts people out. So I don't want to drill down too much and make the document cumbersome or interfere with the process either, but I also don't want it to be so broad that we leave out a big, huge chunk of people who really need to be included. So that's I'll get off my soapbox now, but that's how I do feel about it.
Well said.
Yeah, really. It was.
Yeah, the whole people can't drive at night, people can't get around in the evening. I'm really just increasingly shocked at how many seniors are almost like, I call them reverse vampires. The sun goes down and they have to be back home because they cannot function out in the dark. And it must just be so frightening, to just never be able to get out and not be able to go to a movie and not be able to go to a concert or a play or, go out and do things because you have to, make sure you're home while there's still enough light for you to see. It's just, and I think we just need to be more sensitive to things like that.
Do we have a sense of how many people are affected? We haven't surveyed it, but it would be, I wonder.
It's more people than I'd ever realized. I mean, and I think people just quietly start making these adjustments to their lifestyle. But many people who live in, Shelley and I happen to live in the same building. Many people in our building are basically housebound from sunset on. And, it's just very, very, and one of our neighbors is very sad because she had this whole habit of going to Pete's every day and she can't get to Pete's anymore. And she can't afford Uber every day. So maybe once a week or so she takes Uber up to Pete's and that's her big treat for the week because that's all she can afford. So we just need to be aware. I mean, we can't solve all of these problems for everybody, but making sure that they're not forgotten, they're just not totally left out of the equation is something that we can do. And if people have them on the radar, then as they make decisions, they might make even better, more inclusive decisions. That's my hope. So I think then, are we good? Do we need to take a vote then? Oh, now I'm lost where we were. Where were we? We were thinking about taking a vote. I do think we're already empowered because we already approved this document.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure we need to vote.
I think thanks to Council.
We don't
I know, thanks to Councilmember
clarification.
Yeah, we don't need a.
He's all sad that he brought that up now because we're all confused him. But I think we're good. And I think whoever, as I said, whoever shows up, it may be me, it may be more than me. If something happens, it may not be me. But whoever speaks up will just speak on behalf of their own individual opinion as a commissioner. But we can say that we are mentioning this document that was previously approved by the whole commission. So I think we're okay there.
Yeah, if you...
No, please.
If you identify yourself as a commissioner, but say that your comments reflect your own opinion, you can, I think, say whatever you like.
Okay.
Within the bounds of reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Without being escorted out by the security officers. All right, so I think we're okay there. So February 1st, and that would be at 6 o'clock, Minka, do you know?
When we get closer, I will send you a copy of the agenda. I'm really not sure at what time it will be. Hopefully it'll be early on.
Great, thank you so much. All right, so let's move on then to our reports from officials. Do we have any commissioner reports?
Oh, yes. Actually, I went to a couple of things. The first one on December 16th, we had a meeting. Like, Deborah couldn't come, so we have Monica, and then Commissioner Stinger was there, and Minka was on the phone, and then with the county Michaela. She works for Supervisors Committee. Yeah, right. And then we talk about, just what kind of activity we can do to welcome the immigrants. And there was a very, very constructive discussion, but, we didn't get down to details. But I'm going to keep track of it. I'm going to email Michaela and then to follow up on another discussion. And then I think people, like Monica, she really wanted to have a welcoming party right in front of City Hall. So I don't know about that. So we'll talk about this, okay? And the second thing, actually, I was at this meeting. It's called the Amazon Boys. It's the bridging the gap between all communities. It's organized. There's an organization by Samina Sanders, and she held a big celebration event called IEID Celebration Festival at downtown First Congregational Church at Hamilton. And actually, Councilmember Warbuck was there too. And also Supervisor Sunitian was there. And he got a big award. Anyway, it was very interesting. Actually, I didn't go there from the beginning. They start with 1 o'clock to lunch, etc. I think I went there about 3 o'clock. And and then actually they had some performances on the music and the customs for that specific festival. And it had a whole bunch of awardees show up to get awards. Okay, but the most interesting things, I introduced myself to Samina, and then I follow up by email to invite her to come to our February meeting to give us some of their immigration talk. And I asked her to invite another person maybe. So I'll follow up at the end of this month to remind her.
And I think Samina is on the county HRC.
Yes, yes.
She was. Is she still?
I'd have to look again. There have been several changes on the county HRC, so she was Palo Alto North County representative on the county HRC.
Yeah, she's still there. I checked the website. She's there. So I think that's a good thing. So we could have her come over next month.
That's wonderful. Any other commissioner reports?
Just a quick announcement. The Palo Alto PAMP, Palo Alto Mediation Program, is having a winter social a week from tomorrow, January 22nd, from 6 to 9 p.m. So if you're interested, let me know. If we invited HRC.
Actually, I'm going to go to that one. I already said yes.
Where is somebody's home?
Yeah.
Kitty. I don't think I know her. Yeah.
I think I know her.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm the HRC liaison. So.
Yeah. That's great. All right. Then I actually have a couple of reports as a commissioner. So one is that we did complete our outreach to the seniors regarding the shuttle survey. We ran 4 focus groups, and they were all very successful. And I just have to, again, thank Minka and Mary, who just did such an incredible job. Just organizing, setting up, inputting. Mary basically her fingers flew like lightning, and she input all the data. Commissioner Chen deserves a huge thank you for translating the survey into Chinese, which enabled us to do much better outreach to the Chinese senior community. And all in all, I just think it went very, very well, especially considering our compressed time frame and kind of last minute effort to pull all that together. We also had some great support from the local social service agencies, especially Palo Alto Housing Corporation, the staff over at Senior Friendship Day, the staff at La Comida. So we're very, very lucky to have partners like that. So thanks to the city, our partners, and my fellow commissioners who were able to pull it off, and we got, I think, over 200 surveys completed. So that was a big, big, important slice of data that the city would not have had except for our outreach efforts. So I think we can all be really proud that we were able to do that. Yeah, and so I'm really, really pleased. So oh, sure.
I didn't want to interrupt you. What happens with the survey? Because it just occurred to me that maybe that's something you could bring up at the city council meeting, since you have that result.
Yeah, well, we don't know what the result, the surveys are all anonymous, so we don't know.
Well, as an aggregate. Maybe.
Yeah, we don't know what the aggregate is yet.
The city transportation staff will be tallying all the survey results, and they'll be able to look at, key down into demographics, and, you know, we'll know.
Well, you said it's all seniors?
Well,
it's
a community-wide survey,
I
so
see.
we'll be able to see if there were 250 survey results from seniors, we'll know that the HRC was responsible for getting 200 of those. But the transportation staff will be having some kind of community meeting, I think February, March, to talk a little bit more about the shuttle, that's my understanding. But they will at one point bring the results of this survey and suggested changes, improvements to the shuttle to the council.
Okay.
Yes, and we, as the HRC, and in particular the Senior Services Subcommittee, which consists of myself, Commissioner Stinger, and Vice Chair Stone, will continue to work with the city on revamping and revising the city shuttle service. We still think it might be worth piloting a door-to-door shuttle, but we need to see what the results are from the surveys, what the budgets look like, and what interest there is in piloting that type of program. There's a similar program that's been running in Menlo Park very successfully for many years. So I'd really like for the city to give that a try. And many seniors said they would love to have door-to-door service, but you know, sometimes you have to kind of throw the spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks, kind of a thing. So, but that's something that we'll continue to work with the city on, as they're already in the process of revising the shuttle service. It didn't really make sense for us to come up with our own independent project. So we're hoping that through our collaboration, we can help the city make some good decisions about the shuttles, and in particularly ways to better serve seniors who really rely on that. Some of them, for that's their primary transportation.
Yeah,
so it's crucial.
It's very interesting. By going to this survey, transport survey, you know, the senior French deck, the person in charge, what is her name, Song? Tan was talking to me. She said, oh, they're closing 2 weeks. Their food they're giving to the senior that this Wednesday, you know, lunchtime. They say, oh, do you know any place to give those food, or else it'll be waste? So I just emailed my church, and the church contacted a church in East Palo Alto. So the food went there.
Great. That's
a great thing. Yeah. It was just like very lucky to do that.
Yes, that was very, very fortuitous. Thank you so much, Commissioner Chen. All right, so that was one of my reports. My second report is something that you may have read in the local papers recently. Several months ago, there was a hate crime reported in Palo Alto, and we had a member of the public contact us who was very concerned. A lieutenant from the police department came to speak to us about the whole process by which hate crimes are reported, are documented, are investigated, how the statistics are compiled, and so forth. Very, very forthcoming, very well prepared, and I think we all learned a lot about hate crimes, and I think we're all grateful that it doesn't happen often here in Palo Alto. But a further development came about that I think some of you already know about from the papers, which is that the young man who reported the hate crime has now recanted his story and admits that he made it all up.
Oh yeah,
he was not attacked. He was actually in some kind of fight with some people he knew in East Palo Alto, and then made up a story about being attacked. So the police did a very thorough job investigating. They have charged this young man with filing a false police report. So there was no hate crime. But I think what's important to remember is that the Palo Alto Police Department took this report very seriously, and they investigated very, very thoroughly and did their best to come to a resolution. In this case, the resolution is a little bit sad, you know, that he took advantage of our community resources. But nevertheless, I think we have that assurance that we live in a community where these reports are taken seriously. So if members of the public reach out, have questions or concerns, I think that's really the message, is that any and all reports will be taken seriously. They will be investigated. They will be documented. The police can only do so much, and they may or may not always be able to catch the perpetrators, but they will try to come to some resolution, whether it's an incident or an actual crime. And so that was kind of a bittersweet ending to that story,
Right.
But nevertheless, I think we were lucky as a commission to have learned a lot from the police department about how they do handle those situations. Okay, and then my third update is also from the police. So I talked with Chief Burns recently about the shooting that occurred on Christmas night. This was a very, very tragic event in our community. A young mentally ill man basically called the police, was very agitated. He charged the police officers and they shot him and he died. So this was the first police and officer-involved shooting in our community in over 12 years. It's a big deal when something like that happens. So I did talk to Chief Burns, and my understanding is the following, that there is video and audio, but it has not been released to the public and likely won't be released for some time, if ever, because it's very disturbing, obviously, to the family of the man who died and to the officers who were involved. So people in the public are sometimes calling for that to be released, but there were some real security and privacy issues involved there. There are 3 investigations, basically, that will be ongoing. One is not actually an investigation. There are 2 investigations, one by the DA's office, which will determine whether it was a justified shooting, and if not, whether the officers involved will be charged. The second, there'll be an internal affairs investigation by the police department itself. And then finally, this is not technically an investigation, but the independent police auditor will also be reviewing everything. So he will take another completely independent look at the whole file. So this is going to take several months to go through. So again, there may be members of the public who feel very strongly or very worked up about the shooting, but this is a situation where it's very delicate and there are multiple points of view and multiple factors to have to consider. But again, the police department is taking it very, very seriously and will be very thoroughly investigated and looked at. And so we really won't know an outcome for probably several weeks, if not several months. And that's kind of where we stand on the officer-involved shooting. When I did talk to Chief Burns, I did mention to him that, dealing with mentally ill people, as this young man was, he was a resident in a halfway house for mentally ill people, and he himself had a long history of mental illness. I believe he was schizophrenic. It is very difficult and it's very challenging, even for well-trained police officers, to deal with those types of situations. So we have to feel, a lot of compassion for the officers who were involved, as well as for the family of the young man who was shot. And as I said, those investigations are ongoing, so we won't know for some time what the outcome will be. So any questions or concerns or comments about any of that? All right, so thank you so much. And if there are no other commissioner reports, do we want to have a report from our council liaison?
First, let me thank Chair Leanne for a very good summary. I think you're right that it's a tragedy for everybody involved. It deserves our deepest sympathies because it can be challenging for, of course, officers involved, the department as a whole, the city as a whole, fellow residents and staff, and of course the family. So thank you for following it up and giving us that update. On a happier note, a couple of things coming up that I want to pitch that the city's involved in. Just want to let you know, in case you're interested, in case you haven't already heard, on January 24th, from 12:30 to 4:30 at Jordan Middle School, we're having a sustainability summit. So if you're interested in sustainability issues, I hope that you will come, or tell your friends, or both. On the following weekend, on Saturday, January 30th, the council is having our annual retreat. This is critical. And it's critical also in how it relates to some of the issues that we've discussed here. We'll be setting our priorities for the year. Those are the things that which we spend extra attention as staff and council both over the course of the year. My guess at this point is that we will continue essentially the priorities that we set last year, but I'm somewhat confident that we will be adding some more sub-focus within those. Under the land use and built environment, I've individually advocated for, and will hopefully have support from at least for the council members to highlight housing as something under the land use and built environment priority to specifically focus on housing. And under the healthy cities.
Affordable housing, you mean? Housing in general?
In general.
Okay.
And perhaps with a focus specifically on, basically on the issue of supply and affordability of housing, which are dying. And on healthy cities, healthy communities, as a sub-focus on that, I've individually suggested that we focus on 4 subgroups: youth, seniors, homeless, and the disabled. So we'll see if I have formal votes for that. But I think that there's some interest in doing that from my colleagues.
And where will it be?
Oh, I'm sorry. So that'll be starting at 9 a.m. and perhaps running as late as 4 p.m. So it's all day on Saturday, January 30th. And that one's at Mitchell Park.
And that's open to the public?
That's absolutely open to the public. It is considered, it is noticed as a special city council meeting. Actually, I think they both are.
I know it's called a retreat, but
Well, that's interesting.
that's fine.
Yeah, and so just like any council meeting, happy to receive feedback from members of the public in advance or at the meeting. There will be public comment opportunities.
And what time is the council retreat?
The council retreat is from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m.
Okay, 9 before.
Is there food involved?
Just
checking.
So I know that there will be breakfast served at 8:30. I'm not sure if that's just for the council
No.
or for the public too.
Maybe get early.
I think I attended one a few years ago and I did snag a bag of trail mix. Well, thank you very much, Councilmember Wolbach, for those 2 heads up. In fact, I was thinking the Sustainability Summit might be good for our 2 guest speakers who are here tonight. If they're still interested in environmental issues, that might be a chance for them to attend an event and maybe meet some people and maybe even share their experience of living in China and why they moved here. Interesting, yeah. All right. Then, was there anything else? All right, then let's move on to our staff liaison report.
No report.
Minka has no report, but you reported a lot of other stuff, so
That's right.
that's awesome.
You did.
Okay, so
Okay.
tentative agenda for our next regular meeting in February.
Yes, I just want to interrupt for a second and acknowledge Commissioner Savage for the great event that we went to last week.
Oh.
Shortage of food outstanding.
I wasn't
It's
there
really
at all because I was
interesting
late.
how ubiquitous this problem is. As long as we're on the internet, we are
Very
at
dangerous.
risk.
Yeah.
So, and he gave a great presentation, so
Yeah.
thank you for putting that together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Glad that a few people in this room attended.
Yeah.
All right, so our tentative agenda for the next regular meeting, we will be getting ready for our council study session, which I think is it May, March?
March.
Okay. This is an annual study session that we do. We'll need to put together some slides and kind of recap our achievements, of which we have so many this year. There will be an embarrassment of riches when we go before the council. But yeah,
Jill, what was the date of that, March?
It's like March 6th. It's early March. I have that memorized.
yeah, I think it might be on my calendar, but I'm not sure.
Can we say
I did send it out like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I believe it's March 6th.
March 6th is a Sunday.
Oh, March 7th then, perhaps. I will look again and
Yes,
send it
yes,
again tomorrow.
March 7th at 6 p.m.
There
Can you elaborate a little bit, because I don't know anything about this.
Well,
Maybe I should.
Well, we meet with the city council, and it's our chance to kind of educate them on what we've been doing and get feedback from them on what kinds of input they'd like from the HSC, because we are an advisory body to them. And so some years we've gone in kind of broad, like with broad questions, and then some years we've gone in kind of more specific. This year I think we have quite a few things that we've done, and I think we recap what we've done, but then we also kind of give them a heads up on what work we're going to continue doing. So for example, we would talk about the Homeless Vets Summit, but also what the next steps coming out of that summit would be. We talk about the domestic violence awareness event and, things that happen from there. We'll talk about our new learning series on the immigrant experience and so forth. So yeah.
And also do listening for the,
And also
the
do a lot
council,
do a lot of listening.
council
too.
direction and for the coming year.
Yes, and sometimes they have a lot of direction for us, and sometimes they don't. So it's always a little bit of a mystery wrapped in an enigma, depending on what we're going to find out. But we need to prepare and really come up with a good presentation, good set of slides for them.
So is that something we need to put into action, or?
Well, we'll discuss that at our next meeting,
Okay.
and then probably leadership will work with staff on putting together the presentation. And then I don't know how we'll review them though. Probably review the slides before the
That's good.
study session.
Might just be that you'll have to
Email?
give a representative the authority to make any changes. I think it's often very close to being the same every year, so I think we can look at the format that we've done it in the past. And if you know what your key points are, and you have an agreement to that, if it's one word is a little bit different, I think we can work that way.
Okay, so we'll see what we will come up with. Probably something that we'll talk with staff about at our agenda planning session at the end of this month. So what other things do we need to, we'll probably need an update from Commissioner Stinger on implicit bias. We'll probably need to discuss what other future events we want to do for the year and get some names and some topics put together on who wants to lead what. Do we need to have an update on?
I was gonna say, I'll give an update on efforts for this event, but is it worth adding maybe as a separate item if we need to have like as a commission,
Right.
something to submit to council if staff submits those reports?
Right. So we are still looking at timing for the report to council on a little more information on these homelessness programs and recommendations and resolutions. So if that is after the next HRC meeting and I have a sense of the staff report, at that point it might be something just like the consolidated plan that you want to formulate an opinion about, you want to speak on behalf of the report, you want to call out special emphasis or something like that, and you want to empower a representative. So we should probably have that on the next report. Hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll have a sense of when that report is going.
Okay.
Like in a nutshell, what I'm getting at is that if it goes to council of the All the Way Home campaign, because they're trying to get all the cities in the county to support it, it'd be awesome if we could get the HRC to vote on it and like you send a cover letter with it saying the HRC voted that the city council should support this. That makes sense.
Okay. So that should that then be an item for next time?
You can put it on the tentative agenda. The other thing that needs to be on the agenda next month is it's the year 2 for the CDBG process. As some of you may know, the HISREP process, it's one committee that meets once for 2 years and then it doesn't meet again. But the CDBG group meets for the second year to talk about year 2.
Right.
So we need to, at the next meeting, empower people who want to be on this year 2 committee. It's basically really one meeting. It's not as involved as it was last time. So we need to have that on the agenda next time.
And we need our next immigrant speaker.
Yeah.
And we can put Samina maybe a question mark.
Okay.
She may be doing that.
Yeah.
So any other agenda items?
Oh, was the chief going to come in February?
Well, I'll tell you offline. But I think we do want to get a police update at some point. I don't know about February, but we'll.
They actually were asking to come to us on a topic, but they weren't ready.
Okay.
So that's the topic that we will follow up with them and see they're ready. It wasn't in regards to the incident.
Okay. All right. So any other agenda items? If you think of anything else, you can always email leadership or Minka. All right, if there is nothing else, then we are adjourned. Thank you all so much. And thank you for getting us started with our new speaker series.
All right, getting more.
You're missing the
The third one.
I was here at some meeting, you know.
Yeah.
Go out there and
No, it's not actually,
Right. Oh, I like that.
been working with.
Well, I think he didn't want us to eat it before